What's up, everybody? I hope you guys are all doing well out there. Yeah, we're in a different place. I'm not in my purple ash room today. We're here to have a very, very special and thoughtful and hopefully fun conversation about one main question I have in my mind. Actually, I have a lot of questions, but one main one is, what makes a father? Since today is Father's Day, I wanted to bring in a couple guys that I truly respect and love into a conversation that are all fathers as well in their own right, all different journeys of fatherhood, to talk about what truly is the thing that makes a father a father. And why do us fathers always get the bad rap all the doggone time? Real talk, okay? So, before we get everything moving, little housekeeping rules. Please do me a favor, hit that like button down below, crush it, make it scream out your name. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. You know your boy's working hard out here in these streets, and we're somewhere different, okay? So I'm giving you some variety. So hit that subscribe button if you really do enjoy this conversation, and we're gonna get into it. Let me introduce you to my brothers. Zeus Rebel Waters.
Yes, sir.
What's up, man? How you doing, man? Now, I understand you are a hip hop artist.
Yeah.
You are an entrepreneur. You got something called the Sweets by Sweetwaters.
Yes, sir.
It's a donuts company.
Donuts. We got donuts, man. You know me. You know I always got something different going on and just expanding my brand.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
And I love it. I love it. But and I understand it's not a brick and mortar, but you are still like delivering these out.
Donut delivery. That's right, man. Wherever you at, somebody or you hit us and we're gonna bring you some donuts.
That's what's up.
Straight to your doorstep.
Straight to your doorstep.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Right there.
And then, of course, we got to get into talk about your music though too, because
Sure.
this man, y'all, very, very talented individual. Do you have a new album out? Tell us about something. The one of the projects that you're on right now.
Cool. So right now we got a new single out. It's called Love. It's playing on radio stations all over the country. The record is doing great. We had about 250,000 streams. We need to get to 1 million. So people that's watching, make sure y'all go stream Love by Zeus Rebel Waters, and just working on more music, more businesses, and just hoping, man, to have one of the biggest years of my career.
Oh man, trust me, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, man.
I ain't worried about you. Look at the ice on your wrist. Come on, shut up. Shut up.
Little
Stop
guys,
showing
little
off.
blame,
You're
that's all.
blinding me, okay? I'm
My
blind.
daughter's actually got me these. Happy Father's Day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I love that. I love that, man. And also, we do have Pastor Paul Fernandez in the house of Living Hope. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, man, doing well. Living Hope Church, just started a church plant in Belleville, Illinois. So we're just like a year and a half in. I'm a student at Green Key Seminary online, and then I'm part of the team of chaplains for the St. Louis City soccer team.
Now I understand. How many kids you got?
I have 3 girls. I got a 9-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Nice. And I'm sorry, Zeus, I didn't ask you that, so I'm going to ask you that too.
Yeah.
How many kids you got?
I have 4 girls, so we all got this girl dad thing.
We got the
going on.
girl. We got the girl dad.
Mine are a little older than Pastor Paul's, but shout out to the girl dads that's tuning in.
Wow. Okay. So sorry, really quick, back to you. I'm sorry. So tell me about Living Hope.
Yep.
How did that get started? I understand something about like this started during the lockdown. So give us a little bit about it.
Yeah, right before the lockdown, my senior pastor approached me and just expressed that there's gifts and talents in me and it should be used. And I was just processing, navigating through that. And so when we made the decision, my wife and I made the decision to plant, that's when the whole world started shutting down. So the question was, do we just keep going or do we just wait until everything's back to normal?
Right.
And so we said, no, we're just going to keep going. So we just started messaging people on Facebook, letting them know, hey, we're planting a church. This is what we got going on. We started meeting in homes and gathering, and now we're in Belleville. And so we're rocking it out now, and we're meeting in homes, but we're also meeting on Sundays and just sharing God's word and loving on the community.
That's amazing, man. That's really, really dope. So you do these on Sundays right now.
Yep.
Okay. And of course, don't worry. I'll make sure everybody knows all y'all handles, and we'll do that at the end of the show for sure. But last but not least, the man behind the ones and twos, the man behind the cameras and all that. Y'all know who he is, but my boy Sess White. What's up, man?
Let me do that one more time. VJ Sess White in the house. What's good, man?
Chilling. Okay, first off, we already know what you do. You're helping us put this whole thing together. Shout out to his company, IDEX Media. But let's get straight to it because we already know a little bit about you because you've been on our show, on my show, on
Facts.
the Real Beef with S&P with my sister.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your kids. How many kids you got?
About my kids. Okay, I got Kaylee and Reason. They are wonderful, wonderful chocolate babies. My son Reason is 12. He's really trying to be taller than me right now. Do not tell him that in public. Like, I just plead to you. Don't tell him that in public.
Too late.
They did that right before the show. And then Kaylee, so Kaylee is 9, and she's wonderful. She is so helpful. I'm so glad to have at least one helpful kid. No, I'm kidding. They're both helpful. but no.
Oh, shot fired.
So all of us. So the common it's the girl, right? They think differently. The commonality here, we've all got at least a girl, right?
Right. And okay, and for myself, I'm about to be a father.
Hey.
I can't wait. Just a few more weeks, and then I will be the father of a beautiful, bouncing baby girl. I'm really, really excited about it, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring up this conversation because, one, I'm a father to be. Some people would sit there and say, "Nah, you already a father. The baby's being made. You already a father." But she ain't here yet, right? But this is the reason why I wanted to bring in other people from other walks of life, other backgrounds, some married, some divorced, some co-parenting, some not, so on and so forth, to talk about the struggles and the triumphs of being a father. So let's get this conversation started, shall we?
Yes, sir.
So let's get started in the very beginning of all this, okay? Can you guys give me a little bit of a story or tell me a time when you realized that you really were going to be a father? Because I know it all is different for all of us. It's a moment that might happen right when you find out that your girl is pregnant, or it might be the moment when you change the diaper for the first time, right? So I want to go over to you, Pastor Paul. Okay, what was the moment that made you realize, man, I am a father now?
Yeah, it didn't hit me until I helped deliver my firstborn, Selah. And when she came out, it was just, I just looked at the nurse and I was like, come on, you can't tell me God's not real, bro. like I'm just crying, and it's like this baby that just came out, and like there was all this anticipation, the belly's getting bigger. But when she came out and she was crying, and I got to hold her in my arms, man, and she was just calm and just trying to like figure out this new thing called life, it hit me like, dag, dude, I'm a father.
Right.
And so it dropped on me hard. That was a moment.
Yeah.
That was a moment.
Were you like a sopping,
I was
wet
sobbing,
mess?
I was crying.
Okay.
I was just like in awe that I would have this little human being that I would have to take care of and love and care for. And so it was very overwhelming for me, and good and celebratory, because it was like, dude, this is amazing. Like, life is amazing.
Yeah.
And so when you see it through a baby coming out, it was just like that whole process leading up to that just made it an epic event.
That's what's up. I love that. Zeus, my brother. What about you, man?
I'm gonna speak from a different perspective.
Come on.
I was a really, really young dad. Like senior year of high school, we had our first child. And we pretty much my baby mother's baby mom and I, you know what I'm saying? We kind of like pressed the issue to have kids. Like we were trying. We was young. We was immature. We was rebellious. And we was trying to have kids. We had like one abortion, then we had another abortion, you know what I'm saying? Because our parents was like, y'all ain't finna have no kids. And, we was like, nah, we finna have us a kid.
You guys were
just
like,
wanted to grow up too fast.
Right,
you know
you're in love and young, dumb.
Young
and
love,
full of,
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta say it. Sorry,
No, that's
Pastor. I'm
real.
sorry. But
That's real.
Those feelings cannot be trusted. We said this earlier. We said feelings are a gauge, not a guide.
Yeah, man.
And you were feeling it strong.
Yeah, so
Right.
we really kept trying, and then once we had our first daughter, obviously it was amazing, and we were excited. But it's like, I don't think us being so young, we didn't know what to really expect to be. We weren't ready to be parents, and we didn't really know what to expect. We kind of just like got threw into the water, but we kind of threw ourselves in the water.
Yeah.
if that
You
makes
did.
sense.
You liked it. You were like, this would be a really good idea if we had kids, but you didn't know what all that was going to take.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, okay. So you found out, like, you guys were trying because we're all young. We all have our moments, right?
Sure.
You find out that you're about to have this baby because you finally decide we're gonna keep it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So then, what was that moment? Like that moment when you said,
the
"Oh,
moment was everything
damn."
for me. The moment was amazing, you know, like Pastor Paul said, but also what it did for me too, you know, not to make it like a nice, you know, story, just to be the reality of it for me was I definitely need to change my life. You know what I mean? The things that I was wrapped up in, I was hustling, I was pimping, you know what I'm saying? If you want to call it pimping, I mean, we had, you know, stripper parties, and I had so much stuff going on that I knew that I had to change with me having a daughter. You know what I mean? I knew I couldn't do the same things I was doing.
Right.
And I changed a whole lot. So it really was a reality check for me having, you know, my daughter being born Taylor.
That's what's up. When that was this before, like these changes, did it happen before or did it happen after she was born? When
I would say
when you were holding her in your hands,
yeah.
did you suddenly go, I'm a changed man, or
I
was
don't
it
think it was
before that?
suddenly. It was really before that, and just the process of coming up to knowing, okay, this time we're gonna keep this baby, and you know, I got to step my game up. I got to get, you know, on my game, and then
Gotcha.
a lot of things that I'm involved in, I got to stop. You know, and that's exactly what I did.
That's what's up. Okay, and it was a gradual process.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay,
definitely.
it's not like you just cut it off and you said, I'm done.
Some stuff, yeah.
Some stuff,
yeah.
okay.
Some of the stuff I definitely immediately cut off. You know what I mean? But
feel
it was
you.
definitely a process too.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you. Now, Sess, man, of course, I got to ask the man behind the ones and twos real quick. All right.
Okay.
But what was your moment when you realized, wow, I am officially a father?
So it was, you know, I had been married for a good few years at that point, and then basically we were just in this what I call a non-preventative window. It's like we're just like, you know, if it happens, it happens. You know, we've had a little bit of fun without kids, and then you know, let's go ahead and see how soon that can happen. So, you know, not necessarily rushing, but once it did, it hits people different. Just like you said, it definitely hits people different. And for me, some people are love at first sight, and it sounds bad for me to say that it wasn't exactly that for me. It was responsibility at first push. You know, it's like this baby came out and I was like, okay, so this is another human that knows nothing else except mom and dad, and we've got this little nugget human that can't even support their own head.
Right.
I gotta take care of that. And so it was big. It was big, and you know, as it should be. You know?
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a big deal. I mean, I guess for myself, that's something that I'm gearing up for in my mind.
Yeah, you're
you know,
processing it right now.
Say again.
Yeah, you're processing it right now.
Oh, I'm still
Like,
processing it. Yeah.
What is it? What was it like for you then? So like when you heard the news for you that you're gonna have a baby, what was it like for you?
You know what? It's crazy. It was a really emotional day because it was the anniversary of my father's death. So we found out that we were pregnant right at the same time that we were mourning my father's death.
Wow.
So, but at the same time, I looked at it as that's a sign.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was a gift, bro.
You see
That
what I'm
was a
saying?
gift, bro.
That this, like, my dad is working through this in some spiritual way. I don't know. And I'm not trying to get super spiritual or anything here. That's what you're here
That's
for.
what I'm here for.
That's what you're here
Yes,
for.
the answer is yes.
Yes, it was a
gift.
gift. It was spiritual. But there was something about it. But we were all, and because we were making the announcement all at the same time that we were kind of mourning and all that. And it's funny because she's due in the same month of my father's birthday.
Bruh.
And all this stuff. So for me, it was like, wow. For me, I was like, okay, dad's really speaking right now. And I guess in a way for me, there was a part of me that I got choked up because I was like, man, I wish he was here. I wish he was here. I could tell him to his face. But I think he knows. I believe he knows.
Yeah.
And I think the way how everything kind of fell into place, the anniversary of his death, and us bringing in new life on the same day, it kind of spoke in a certain way. But that's not really the knowing of like, oh, I'm going to be a father. I've had my moments. You know what I'm saying? I've had some sobering moments where I step back and I'm like, damn, oh my damn, I'm about to be a dad. Like I've had those, but I know it will be nothing in comparison to when I actually get to meet her and when I actually get to hold her for the very first time, you know. And I'll be real, I'm terrified about the delivery. I'm terrified about being in that room. You know, that's a scary thought. It's a scary, bloody thought, you know, that there's going to be another being that's going to be coming out of my wife's body. That is scary in my mind. And standing there and watching her go through that, it's
a lot, man.
It's intense, right?
It is intense.
It's
It is
intense. You know
It
what I
is
mean?
intense.
And so let's talk about that really quick. Being in the room, because I know that you guys are fathers of more than just one child.
for sure.
Okay. Both of you guys have 3, right?
Four.
Shoot, I keep on messing that up. You got 4, you got 3. Cess, you got 2.
Yeah.
Does it get easier after the first one? Or is it I know that sounds crazy. No. Ladies, I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that. Ladies, hold on. I don't mean it like that.
My wife is watching this.
But,
It's okay. Just
but what I mean is, does the experience, does it still have the same amount of weight?
Wow.
Because you know you have the first child, and this is my first baby, oh my God, sopping mess, right?
Yeah.
Second, third, fourth, is it the same feelings? Or is it a little bit like, this isn't my first rodeo type of deal?
I was for you, P. I was.
Yeah, come on with it,
Appreciate you,
baby.
man. Yeah, I was super lax on it. I was like, we've been here already. We know what this is about. Praise God, we got another baby coming.
Word.
I remember my wife, she's pretty fit. And so she's good at reading her body, and she would tell me, hey, I think it's time. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of grabbed the bag. I took my time. I was scrolling through Facebook. I was like doing my thing. And then she's like, Paul, we need to go now. I said, okay, I got it. And I'm turning off the lights and making sure everything's turned off.
Taking your
'Cause
time.
we're about to be in the hospital. So
Right.
you're going to be in the hospital for a long time. Okay.
know.
And so it's like, what are we going to do with our time? So I want to make sure I'm not just rushing here. And so I get in, and come to find out, we didn't register. So you got to make sure you register. Your wife, make sure she's ready to go. They have her in the system.
Okay.
So she's going through contractions. She's like, Paul, we need to go now. I'm like, it's cool. This is our name. We go into the room, and bro, she popped out a baby in less than 10 minutes. Like, it was like the nurse
could have had a baby in the
the nurse was right there. She's like, okay, we're ready. And it was just
Wow.
like, she had like all the music going. Like, we're trying to create the vibe because we figured we're going to be in here for a minute.
Yeah.
And bro, it was like
that.
it was like that, man. I was holding my baby within the hour for sure. It was
Wow.
insane. It was insane. So
Wow.
it was different because I took it as, it's not a big deal. We've been here before.
Right.
But the second one came like fast, man.
That's crazy.
That was a fast moment. So it was bad on my part. I did not lead well in that, because I thought, nah, I know how this goes.
Yeah.
And every pregnancy is different. So
Right. Every experience or labor
Yep.
is different. Some of them you're in there for 48 hours of her just trying to, you know, and some, like you just said, within an hour you got a wailing, crying baby in your arms.
it, man.
That's wild, man.
wow, bro.
You know, Zeus. What about you, man?
Kind of same for me, man. The first one was a little different. I mean, I was excited each time, but first time was definitely a lot different than the third time, fourth time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more at ease and just ready for the situation. And then also, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer of this whole show, but obviously my journey and Pastor Paul's journey was kind of totally
We got different worlds.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was just a young dad, man, and I think every time I'm popping a kid, my ex is popping a kid. I'm like happy, but I'm like, dang, I keep making these kids back to back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just kind of crazy when I sit here and digest it and just think back. You know what I mean? Because my kids kind of grew up with me. You know what I mean? We like almost like friends in a sense. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of crazy. But
Yeah, no, and I've seen, like, at least online, like social media wise, I've seen how you are with your kids. You know, the relationship that you have with all your girls. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. They love you, they support you. That's a real beautiful bond that I'm hoping that every father gets.
Yeah, I
You know what I'm
appreciate it,
saying?
man.
That's a beautiful thing. No, seriously. And they're all gorgeous, man.
Thank
No
you.
disrespect. Hold up.
It's all good.
I'm married. Hold up. But but they're all very, very beautiful, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's very, very cool, man. That you have that kind of relationship, that strong relationship. Cess, what about you, man? You know, first one, you know, Reason came into the world. Okay.
Yeah.
And then now you have your daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it the same kind of thing, or did it have as much weight?
Yeah. So it did hit a little bit differently for me. Just because so the first with Reason, we actually didn't do the name. I'm sorry, we didn't do the gender. So we didn't find that out until the day. That was awesome. We almost hung in there for Kaylee, but not quite. We kind of spilled the beans, or found out. Just peer pressure, So that was something that added significantly to the weight of the first one, because you actually have that it's a boy moment, it's a girl moment, and it was a boy. It was Reason. Didn't have a preference per se. I was just excited to have a healthy human child. So second time around, and we did know the gender. It was a lot more, just like you guys are saying, it was a lot more smooth. It's not like the first time,
Right.
and yeah, we just made it happen. It's like, okay, cool. We did this. Let's do this again. Let's make this happen. Expand the family.
That's dope. That's really, really amazing. Because I've never heard that, actually. Seth, I've never heard that before.
Yeah. You didn't know.
the gender reveal when the baby's born. I've never.
Yeah, they didn't always have it, but yeah.
You see it in movies.
I think the list can kind of go on through our conversation, but it's like there's a shift of like, I got to do something to make sure that everything's kind of laid out like it needs to be.
Right.
So I think when that responsibility of that little one comes into our life, it shifts. Knowing that it's coming and seeing them brings this level of responsibility that something has to change.
Yeah.
Right.
Even if, like in my scenario, I was prepared, quote unquote, prepared for it, but I wasn't really prepared for it. It wasn't like I wasn't ready for the emotions. I wasn't really ready for the level of responsibility, because it's one way to live with your girl and do your thing and you're kind of living. And then now you're thinking about another mouth to feed and to make sure you're taken care of.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like most people in our community, are nowhere near prepared. You know what I'm saying? We not ready. And if you look at the numbers and the statistics, you can see that it's so many single mothers. And
Bro.
you know what I mean? And I know this could turn into a long conversation, and it has a lot to do with a lot of different things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, I mean, you got a lot of people now coming in having kids that you're not prepared. It's a lot of teen parents. There's a lot of me's out there now. It's probably majority me's than people coming in and they got a structure and they all have careers. And, that's why when we talked earlier, I was just saying to you, it's dope that, you ain't a young guy, you an established guy now having a baby. It's going to be 10 times better than being like, well, Pastor Paul obviously was established as well, but you got babies raising babies out here, man. It's
Babies
crazy.
raising babies.
I'm a grandfather already. You know what I mean?
Well, congratulations, Grandpa.
Shout out to Zakai. Shout out to my grandson, man. That's my reason. But yeah, it's crazy out here, man. It really is.
Well, I mean, and that actually goes into that next question I was going to ask anyway. So I'm really glad that you guys have been bringing that up. Why do fathers get a bad rap? Like, let's be real. I mean, we could joke and laugh about like the memes that are out there, those skits where Father's Day comes up and the dude kids give you like tube socks, a tie, maybe some scrambled eggs if you're lucky. Mamas, they get their Louis Vuittons, they get the brand new car,
Vacation.
They get vacations,
Massages.
they get the massages, the spas, and all that. Why? And I know, and all jokes aside, okay, I get it. They are the ones carrying and bringing the babies into the world. But what is up with us fellas, us fathers, getting these bad raps? Okay, the short end of the stick.
I don't really look at it like the short end of the stick. Really, I think it's more of a gender thing where it's just like you just you want to give the woman more gifts and more, and us as men. Some of us, we ain't really tripping off of. We just like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, if we really want something,
it's Father's Day. Leave me alone today.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to do nothing.
I'm probably gonna buy
I ain't
it
trying to
anyway.
go to the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? So it's probably like,
Just give me my beer. Let me watch my game.
Exactly. Let me relax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe that needs to change. I don't know, but for me personally, I'm not really tripping off of the gift. You know what I mean? It's really more today is just about. I'm really appreciative to be their dad. You know what I'm saying? I'm more appreciative to them than they are to me, because I wouldn't even be the person that I am today, or even go as far as I've went if it wasn't for my kids. You know what I'm saying? I could have been dead in jail, because I would have, been on whatever.
Right.
If I didn't have the responsibility to have to be a father, I would be a completely different person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure I would still be selling dope and doing all kind of stuff.
Right.
Facts. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I think there's this innate like nature when men are in charge of something. We either take responsibility or we run from it. And I feel like a lot of fathers have ran because the pressure was real. It was kids raising kids. It's like, I don't know if I could do this. And I think it's had a bad rap because of culture and our people dealing with all that they've dealt with. And it's just really hard because when we talk about men's health, mental health, and all those things, like, we're not putting the factor all these things that are going on, and I think we undermined it. And so I think it has a bad rap because there's this innate responsibility that is upon men, and we have our wonderful wives or women that come up and they do a lot of hard work, but we kind of get pushed to the side because we have this responsibility, and sometimes we don't match up to that responsibility that has been given to us. So
That's true. And I also feel like, there's that literal physical attachment that happens between a mother and a child that us men do not really have because we're not the ones bearing the child, right? We're not carrying that child for 9 months. And I could see how a lot of kids out here would go and praise their mothers before they go and they praise the father. But then at the same time, there are still those relationships, those households where there is two, mother, father, right? There's still two pillars in that house that are holding it down, raising the children together. But for some strange reason, I feel like because a lot of times the father, majority, if it's a traditional breakdown of a household, he's usually the breadwinner.
Yep.
So he's never really home all that time.
Right.
To do all the child rearing, to raise the child. He gets home, he does the discipline. He'll sit there, teach his son how to be strong in certain moments. But outside of that, the nurturing, the loving, the caring part comes from the mother.
I agree with you.
You see what I'm saying? So then I see when it comes to Mother's Day, hell yeah, they get the Gucci.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they get the Mercedes.
Come on.
Pops, he gets a high five and maybe a teary "I love you, man."
Good
You know
job.
what I'm saying?
Yes, you stuck in there.
Yeah, you stuck in there. Good job, Dad. Thanks for being there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like when you see those memes that are out there,
Right.
it sucks because and it's a meme and it's all jokes, but it does make you wonder. It does make you think about the connection between a father and their child. Because there is something untangible that is between a mother and their child.
Yeah.
Because it's something physical and there's something natural.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense? It's something about nature, if that makes any
I think
sense.
the biggest thing is just wanting to be, for me as a father, when it comes to my girls, I think it's just wanting to be appreciated.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you know what I'm saying? Just like knowing, like, man, bro, I sacrifice. Like, y'all don't even know. Like, just let me know you appreciate me. You can come sweep the floor, wash the dishes, clean the house. I'd be like, cool. You know what I mean?
Right?
I ain't even true no
Like,
gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're like,
that's
forget.
my
Man, I feel like specifically for you, man, I think it's going to be a challenge for you to dial in when your wife does give birth, because there's a level of you're not really needed besides providing the shelter, the food, the resources, because the baby is so like on mom all the time. Like even right now, like all my girls, it's team mom all the time.
All day.
And like they just love mom all the time. But what I've learned is consistency is key. It's like trying to dial in, trying to be present. Hey, I know you can change this diaper 10 times faster than me. I'm gonna do this. And then it's like getting in that world, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm gonna try to lead in this nighttime thing right here. I know that you're gonna give the nighttime kisses and there's like 20-minute conversation after we say goodnight.
Right.
I'm gonna try to dial in on that. And it's hard, I think, for fathers, because when we go to work, we get to work, we get something done, we get a paycheck, we go home. We almost want the same results sometimes when it comes with our kids.
Word.
And it's our first job is actually our children. So it's like learning how to pace ourselves at our work and putting our creativity and our love and our care, especially in those younger years, man, with our kids. But it's fighting to dial in on that. And it's hard. And not every Seth's got something to say.
Yeah,
Not every guy can do that. But it's I think from 0 to 10 actually is hard.
Yeah.
to try to dial in because it's not until the child gets a little older where they're like, okay, Dad, I see you out here,
Right.
and they start appreciating you. You know what I mean? And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I see you.
Yeah.
You know. Go ahead, Seth. What were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Well, for me, so I was gonna say, and I heard what you meant when you said it, but I think the way you said it, because you said you're not really needed, and I know that you didn't mean that.
Yeah.
But it's like you're needed differently.
Yes.
And it's that perception, because when the baby is first born, right? What's up?
Well, Seth, then how do you know? Like, how are you to know what exactly you are needed for then? Because
Yeah, okay.
if the mother is being nurturing,
Yeah.
right? If the mother's being nurturing, then what is it that you like? How are you to find out what you are needed?
Yeah,
for
I got
as
you
a
for
father?
sure. For sure. So as far as the things that she cannot do. So for example, the things that I cannot do, I cannot breastfeed. So baby comes out, they're gonna do the little baby shuffle. They're gonna crawl up, right, and they're gonna latch on. Well, that's not me. That's not my role. I don't have those parts, that hardware, right?
Right.
But the things that I can do, I can help make sure that mom is fed, so that there's nourishment, so that there is something to supply that breast,
Milk,
so
yep.
the milk and all that jazz. So the things that support and that structure, like there are just other things as far as the financial piece and making sure that mom is mentally safe as much as you can do, and that you're in a safe space and all of that stuff, because mom is vulnerable. Mom, especially right after, tired, wiped out. What else can you do? Okay, can you cook? Can you clean a little bit? Can you do something to
Yeah, that partnership.
help? Yeah, that partnership part. So if you're doing things together, and that's of course that's for a more traditional household. But even if you're not in a more traditional household, you're still needed. And so there's a lot of stuff, and I don't want to deep dive yet, because I know you have more questions, but
Yeah,
there's stuff.
No. And Seth, what you're saying is really, really good, because I saw what Pastor Paul was saying here, and also Zeus was saying here. But what all you guys are saying, that makes me want to go into that next question, which is co-parenting. Okay, co-parenting. Dun dun dun. We gotta talk about this, baby. We gotta talk about it. Okay.
I got a fresh story too.
Go
ahead. You go ahead.
I can't wait to hear it. But my question is, because I know, even when you are married or you are divorced, and I know some of the fellas in this room are divorced, you're still co-parenting, right? Still, no matter what. Okay. So, how are you co-parenting as a married man, Pastor Paul?
Yeah, it's ongoing communication. Those date nights are intentional for check-ins. How is she doing? How am I doing? And then how are we parenting? And what does it look like to meet in the middle on that? And
are y'all getting like TPS reports sent to each other or
no.
something? Y'all faxing each other some stuff?
Because we're going through life, and I feel like even if you sleep next to each other, like you're just kind of going and grinding. And I think it's always good to have, at least with a household like mine, where my wife and I have been married for 12 years. We have 3 kids, and so we've been intentional about at least once a month or every other week that we try to dial in and try to say, okay, how are we doing with each other, and then how are we doing with the kids? Because I feel like, at least on my end, like if me and my wife can get linked up, it's going to be beneficial for these kids to thrive better because we're better. And then it links on to like, how do we dial in? Because every kid has a different personality. Every kid is disciplined differently, encouraged differently. And so those things need to be talked out. So that co-parenting is an ongoing process because they're growing just as much as we're growing.
Right. And but one thing that you have a benefit of is that they're all under the same roof with you. So you maybe that could be a bad thing too, depending on the day. You're like, oh man, gotta go home. But I know that we have 2 other men in the house that are divorcees, I guess, if that's the right word to say. So I'm gonna go to you, Zeus. How are you actually handling the co-parenting? Or were handling the co-parenting? Because I know a lot of your girls are grown now. How were you handling the co-parenting when you are in 2 different households?
I feel like you saying what you just said, that a lot of your girls are grown, makes it even worse.
Word.
In for what I'm about to say.
Please tell me.
But
What's up?
what I'm gonna say is this. I'm gonna say for everybody that's watching,
You can go right into this camera
right
right
there.
there.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. If you and the ex have not let each other go, you have made co-parenting 30,000 times harder.
Okay, so
break
so
that-
now
yeah,
you gotta
you
explain
gotta
all that.
break that
Come
down.
on now.
I mean, it's
You just
exactly
came
what I
in with the
said.
heat, so you gotta explain that.
If you and your ex-husband or ex-wife still like romantically haven't let go of each other,
Yeah.
you've just made the whole thing 30,000 times harder.
Messy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I've seen different situations. My best friend, he newly married, you know what I'm saying? And his ex-wife and come to the birthday party and his wife there and they all talk and that's cool and that's dope. You know what I mean? And I still have not had that. Like my ex has never brung a guy around me. And I ain't never really brung a woman around her. And like you said, our kids is damn near grown. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. I feel like me and P got this like good cop, bad cop thing going on.
No, and that's fine. This is
Everything
but
you
also
say it be like so good, and then
But
I gotta
okay.
come with this bullshit crap.
You speaking to somebody.
well,
But I gotta tell the truth
this
though.
is
I
good
can't-
stuff though.
But I
This is
can't. I gotta
bro.
keep it real.
Yeah.
Though,
This
you know
is
what I'm
good, bro.
saying?
Please keep it real.
And I'm gonna just say, I'll just say what I just said. Yeah, if you and the ex are still like, even if y'all not physically romantically involved, but if y'all just haven't even emotionally let each other go,
Flirting and-
you've made everything 30,000 times harder. So what I'm and it's crazy with this whole situation. I think what I'm even learning, even just listening to everybody talk,
Right.
and I think maturity is like the biggest thing of all of this.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of feeling like relationship talk and father talk. But I think if you mature, you can have the conversation, and maybe therapy is even needed for the two people to co-parent.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Because some
absolutely.
people will look at it like, we ain't married. What we doing therapy for? We not even together. But
No.
it may be a good thing because it may help the situation with the children.
Absolutely.
Right. So then what currently? Because you said it like it may still be going on. Is it still going on, bro?
No, it ain't going on no more. But
Like
you know what I'm saying?
the thrill is gone. The thrill is gone. It's gone. Or is it still there, bro?
Okay, see,
Come on now.
I'm gonna dig deep into it.
Let's go.
So my parents are still together today. Okay, they
Beautiful.
celebrate their anniversary. I think it's 40 years or some long ass number. I don't know. I don't remember correctly. Like next week. Okay. So for me, no matter what happened, and I'm gonna try to sum it up to make it short. No matter what happened in our relationship, whether it's her fault, my fault, whoever fault, I've always had this thing to hold on to it because that's all I'm accustomed to seeing is my mama
Yeah, your mom
and my
and your
dad.
dad.
I don't know nothing else. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So
right.
I've always tried to, no matter what happened, try to just hold on. But what I've just came to the realization is, it did a lot of damage to my kids in the past. You know what I'm saying? Because they're seeing the toxicity. I ain't even pronounce it right, but
You
they
said it
seeing
right.
the
You
said it right.
toxicness. They seeing the toxicness, and then like what happens, and I'm even speaking to the people that's watching. What happens is it spill off into their lives, and when they get older, they repeat the same cycles.
Same cycle.
So right now, what I want to do, and my biggest thing is just trying to stop those cycles when they deciding to deal with certain guys and certain men. Like, y'all know the red flags before you deal with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know.
No, I mean, but what are you doing? Like, expand on that a little bit. I mean, what are you doing now? Because I know, had I known this when I was younger, I would have done this, and this different. And I get that, woulda, shoulda, coulda, right?
Yeah.
But now in this current state that you're in right now, what are you doing for your kids? What are you exactly doing?
A lot of conversation, because that's all I really can do. I mean, I really wish that I could like handpick the person they dealt with.
Yeah.
Which is impossible. You
Right.
know what I'm saying, for me to do, but just a lot of conversations. You know what I'm saying? And just talking to them, and even just placing a lot of blame on me and just saying, hey, you don't want a situation to be like your mom and I. Like, you don't want that. You want to live your life. That's why you don't need to be getting pregnant young. You don't need to be doing none of that. You need to get your money, go to school, get your degree, travel the world, have fun, kick it, call me for the cash app. But once you go have it, like my oldest daughter has a baby, and she's 24, so she graduated high school and all that. But for me, I was really in the beginning, I was really upset about that. That bothered me because that's what I didn't want for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And nothing against, young men out there now, but young men, not all of them, but a lot of them are different. They not like us, man.
Yeah.
They not, and it's my generation's fault. I would just say it's like we didn't teach these young men how to be fathers, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's a difference between being a daddy to somebody and being a father.
Yes.
You know
Facts.
what I mean? And the young men of today, not every last one, please do not kill me in the comments, but a lot of young men in our community do not know how to be fathers, and it's our fault.
So okay, when you
Boy
say
daddies.
say again,
Boy daddies.
boy daddies. I mean, we see a lot of those, but what is it that what do you think went wrong? What do you think we did wrong then?
We were absent. A lot of us were absent. Drugs, the job market, maybe. You know what I mean? It's stemmed from stuff way before us.
Way before.
Willie Lynch. I mean, I could go on and
Right,
on. You know what I mean?
right.
But it's a lot of different variables in that situation. You know what I'm saying? But
I feel you.
the only thing I could say that could help that, you know what I mean, is what I try to do is I just try to the same thing, conversations with young men, even if it ain't my son, or I don't have a son, but just conversations with these young men, especially the ones that are young fathers. You know what I'm saying? Your baby come first, bro. Your daughter,
Period.
your son, that's first. Then you go get some Jordans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The daughter shouldn't be having to call her dad and whoever else like, I need Pampers. Man, dude. My baby ain't never had to go. My baby mama ain't never had to call nobody to get no Pampers.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't care if I got to go rap on the corner. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And I had a lot of support from my parents, so I'm not gonna act like I didn't. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like the last phone call. That's like Lifeline.
Right.
If I'm gonna call them.
Yeah.
But I will say this. You're very lucky to have that lifeline because there's a lot of dudes out here. There's a lot of fellas out here that don't even
They
have
don't
that
have
at
that.
all.
That's what I'm saying.
And then they
So
get
that's
lost.
All of that is.
And then they run.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they make
Exactly.
very, very poor choices and do some unthinkable
So
things.
how do you know how to be something that
Right.
you never?
That you never been taught or
Exactly.
shown. Yeah.
Especially the fellas that are out here that have absentee fathers. They're not watching. They're not seeing by example. You see what I'm saying? Like, you were lucky to have good parents,
Yeah.
right? You were lucky to have good parents as well. Same here. But a lot of times, there's us other fellas out here, some of them are not as lucky.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
only get the
Yeah.
mom.
That's
And
true.
they just know about dad who just picks up his shoes and walks out the door. You know what I mean?
And that's one thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not gonna make an excuse for somebody that's not stepping up and being a man and taking care of their kids. Because my thing is too, whatever you go through, what you go through is what you grow through.
Right.
So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? I got a best friend of mine, man. His life is a storybook. We need to get him on your show some kind of way.
love that.
He took care of everybody. Graduated college, pledged alpha. I'm talking about rocking. Life is on fire. Wife, kids. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He came from nothing. He took care of his mama. You don't know his daddy. And there's many stories like that.
True.
So you still gotta go against the grain and you gotta beat it. You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we ain't giving no excuses. If you ain't taking care of your kids, you gotta fix that. Period.
No, that's true. And you're right. There are a lot of people that need to not lean on the daddy issues or the mama issues and realize that they need to, grow and be an independent thinker for themselves. Because you can't just lean on all your tragedies as an excuse. How you going to grow? How you going to be a better person if you just lean on all that BS? But we can go all day on that. Sess, you wanted to say something, bro?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are so many, and because we were talking about absent fathers, and there's a spectrum of that. For example, so when my parents split, they were living in different parts of the country. And so it wasn't that my dad didn't want to be around. He actually still did things for me, but they were split and they had a different situation. Me being separate, I live down the street. And so I see my kids just about every day, and we do things all the time. Usually twice a day. But there are some people that are absolutely completely gone. not because of you work or something has them elsewhere, or they just literally ghosted. And so that's the thing that's really hurting the people that are coming up, is because, just like you were saying, they don't have that presence. So they're not actually witnessing, someone being a father, being a man,
Right.
directly from theirs. They're a lot, they're just another one of those sad situations where it's like, well, I never knew this guy because he just never showed up for me.
Right.
My father showed up for me in the way that he was able to at the time, and then much more. I love him. We got good history, and then much more. When we were able to connect in a more full way, just because of logistics. But there's such a range of that, and when you don't have that opportunity to be an example physically, or at least make your presence known, if you're not physically there, then there's a lasting effect.
Yeah, I mean,
Presence is important.
that is true. I think communication is obviously, as we've just been talking about, is huge, is key. I also do think that that it how us as men, when we grow up, and women, a lot of it stems from the foundations that we had around us. And sometimes we become prisoners of our own minds, that we can't allow ourselves to think outside that thing, right? It's the I was abused by my mom, or there was a lot of domestic violence that happened in the household, or dad was never there, or mom was never there. It's very frustrating and hard because as you said, Zeus, you're like, hey man, you got a kid, you can't use these as excuses anymore. But I do feel like there's a lot of people that are trapped in their minds. They're stuck in the jail of their own minds, whether it's, oh, my daddy didn't love me, or my mama didn't love me, and they're not able to expand or grow into an adult, or find their own version of what a father really is to them, if a father was absent in their life. And I think that's really a frustrating part of it as well. You know what I mean? Now, and one thing, divorce. Okay, we got to talk about divorce, because I know that I know Sess, Zeus, you're both divorced and all that. How hard was it, the divorce? Sess, let me throw it over to Sess real quick.
Well, for me, I feel like my kids were younger, both single digit kids. And so with them being younger, not necessarily understanding, but I feel like it would be harder if we split when they were teenagers. I feel like there would be a lot more emotion, a lot more stuff to process and unpack. And it's emotional for everybody. You have to make sure that you listen to your children and how they're processing things, because it's not their fault, making sure that they know it's not their fault.
Right.
And you got to work out the logistics of how everything is going to work moving forward, because ideally you want to be moving to a solid situation. You don't want to move forward in a way that's broken, because it hurts everyone that's involved.
Right.
And so, there's a spectrum of difficulty. Mine was challenging, but we've been told multiple times we co-parent it like in an unreal way, like people don't understand. And some people, they don't get along with their ex at all. They don't communicate, or it's violent, or whatever.
Yeah. True.
So there's a spectrum. For us is challenging, but it's a lot less difficult, I think, for me personally, for us in our situation, than it is for a lot of other people.
So let me ask you this then, Sess, because I'm going to keep it separate. I'm going to go to you, and then I'm going to go to Zeus here.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions for you.
Go ahead.
How did the kids take it when you told them?
Yeah. So the kids, obviously they were sad. Of course they both cried. They weren't dead to it. It's like, all right, well, the way that we live life is changing, and it's shifting to a way that we have no familiarity. We don't know what this word means. We don't know, what this separation is. So, we sat down, we told them, the process of what was going to happen, and tried to explain it in a way that they could understand. And we made sure that, they knew, that, they're still loved, and what was going to happen next, like the next steps.
Yeah.
So there's less, um, I don't know, just less mystery about it, because you want to kind of cushion them as much as possible, protect them as much as possible,
Right.
and give them some sense of security in the midst of change.
Okay. Yeah, because I get that, because that is a huge, sometimes for these kids can be very volatile type of change. I mean, this is like shaking their world,
Yeah.
or flipping their world upside down. And I also hear stories about kids leaning towards one parent more than the other, turns into battles in that kind of way. For you, really quick, was it, for lack of a better term, was it an easy transition, or was it tough? Was there backlash?
So you're saying with the
With the
children.
kids, with the kids,
Okay.
yeah.
I would say that for us it was a fairly easy transition. There were, there were a couple times. So let me see. It's been 5 years now. Kaylee was 4, and so, or going on 5. So she didn't have a whole lot of anger and emotion and stuff like that.
Right.
Reason had a little bit. He had some stuff that he was working through, and that we talked about, but it wasn't terribly difficult. I've heard some pretty rough stories.
Gotcha.
And some of those people have never really landed that plane because of either not communicating fully with the child, or just maybe they just processed it in a really rough way and weren't able to fully recover. But anyway, to answer your question, for us, it wasn't terribly difficult.
Gotcha. Okay. Zeus, my brother. All right. Because I know you're also divorced, and don't worry, I'm coming to you too, Pastor,
man.
Pastor Paul. I want to hear your thoughts and all that too. I'm sure you got some great words on that too, on all this. But when you had to break it to the kids, or to, I don't know, when you had to break it to the kids, what was it like? Was it difficult?
I'm gonna say the divorce thing. My kids, mom and I, man, we was extremely immature, extremely selfish. You know what I'm saying? The time my kids were like in the most pivotal moments of their life, at middle school and high school,
Right.
and I know that we knocked a chunk out of their life that they'll never forget. You know what I mean? They all went through, man, different small demons, mental stuff, stuff at school, fighting. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
And it's kind of crazy because you the first person that even ever asked me about that. And when I go back into that place, it just tears me up inside, because as a father, I want to be a protector. I want to always be somebody you look at and you say, "Oh, my dad did this and this made me better." But I know that
Right.
that was a situation that made them, that hurt them, that they'll never forget. You know what I mean? And we wasn't, at the time, we wasn't tripping off of how they felt. We was like, I was more on, I need to do this, and she was on, this what she need to do. And then just to kind of add insult to injury, the girls ended up with me. And here I am. I don't know how to raise no girls. I don't know nothing about period. I don't know periods. I don't know nothing about none of this stuff.
Yeah,
Here I
yeah.
am trying to travel the world, raise kids. You know what I'm saying? Still want to be a high boy. So I'm a, let me sneak this girl over. It's just a crazy ass story, bro.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about it if that's okay. But how? And then what? I'm so glad you came onto the show today, because your story is definitely off the beaten path of what we usually hear.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
We usually hear the mother takes in the kids, father out there in a 1-bedroom apartment eating ramen noodles while they're back at the crib, with the mom eating the full belly of great food, right?
Yeah.
For example, but you took in the kids. You
Yeah,
had
I
the
had
kids
the
yourself.
kids.
How did that happen? Why did that happen?
To not get all the way into it, I'm
Sure.
gonna just say I think mental health probably, well, not mental health, definitely played a part.
Okay.
You know, and then I also feel like what we were talking about at first, you know, my background is family, you know what I'm saying, and her background, where she came from, wasn't as family as mine was. Not to take nothing away from hers, but just
Right.
it wasn't as family as
Solid.
yeah, as what mine
Yeah.
was. So for somebody, you know, to decide if you had to flip a coin of who gonna run first, and it's gonna be just them, it would have been her before it would have been me.
Word.
You know, because over my dead body, I would have, you know,
Yeah.
have my kids somewhere else and
Lay
me
your
not-
life on
me
the
not
line.
have
Yeah.
it,
Lay
you
your
know
life
what I mean?
on the line for the kids.
And that's just kind of how it played out, man. And you know, but I'm thankful for her. I'm thankful for everything that happened because it made, you know, me a way better person than I could have ever been. You know, that hurt and that pain that I felt, because I never even had really loved anybody the way I loved her. It was like first love, and I kind of stuck with it. I figured, you know, whatever we went through, it would pass. You
Right.
know, it was my fault too. You know, but yeah, man. So yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah. No. It's crazy. I mean, how? I know you kind of tapped on it a little bit, but how did the kids take it though?
They
This
took it
change.
hard. They took it real hard. You know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, from mental health stuff all the way to fights at school to just, you know, and they still, you know, obviously they're getting better and it's back to the norm, you know, because she's around, I'm around, you know, we try to, you know, do family stuff
Right.
every so often, really more like birthday parties, graduations. Everybody get together in that nucleus and it's the
Yeah.
laughing and the joking like it used to be back in the day. But I think it's just a product of just immaturity, man. And it's just one of those things where it's just like we gotta like talk to our kids, you know what I'm saying, about just growing up too fast. And like we gotta let kids be kids. You know what I mean? Because you get in positions like we did, and you grow up too fast, and you end up hurting your children.
That's
True.
bro.
And I'm okay with admitting that. You know what I'm saying? That I hurt my children. You know what I mean? Not physically, but
Right.
my actions with my wife, ex-wife, and I, we ended up hurting our children because of our immaturity.
Yeah, I mean, because you get that tunnel vision of like trying to one up each other,
Yep.
or whatever. There's that revenge, or there's that jealousy. God knows
All
what.
that.
Next thing you know, your kids are sitting there front row seat with the popcorn, watching every single move you make, and then they go, "Oh, so this is how men and women should be reacting to each other. Oh, this is what love is."
Wow.
And then, of course, it turns into other things as well. And you know, I'm glad though that you guys found a way out of that, right? And that, you know, your kids learned.
It's still a
And-
journey. We
and-
ain't
no,
there yet.
I know you
what
ain't
I'm
per-
saying?
no one's perfect,
Yeah,
man.
Me and
Right?
the ex ain't we ain't there yet. We
Yeah.
still, you know, but I've been asking God, you know, just to guide me. To guide me through. I think for me, and then I'm shut up because my bad. I know P, you got something to say.
No,
For me,
go for it.
what's really just been on my spirit is I feel like I've changed so much, but I feel guilty about the past. You see what
Word.
I'm saying? So I feel like, dang, I could have been nicer to my ex-wife. I could have did more date nights. I could have been, but I was always looking at it like, man, I'm taking care of y'all. The bills is paid. Let me do my thing, and then once God bless me with this big old record deal, I'm gonna buy everybody everything y'all want, and we'll be happy, and then we'll start doing all that stuff.
Right,
but
right.
that was just my thought, man. It was just immaturity, man. So sometimes I put guilt and place the blame on myself. Like, dang,
Right.
I could have had the happy life, like, you know, I'm happy, but you know, the happy life with the wife and the family, and kept our nucleus together
Right.
to be this you know, this black family. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That we're not anymore. And sometimes I get in a guilt trip because of that. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to not be there.
Can I just jump in and say something to you really quick? I do truly believe that everything happens for a reason. And you went through this path in your life and you fell in love. Sure, you made some mistakes, but you made four beautiful
Yes, sir.
women. You have a grandson now. Sure, you can go back all day long and think about all the things that you coulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda. You can guilt trip yourself all day long on all those things. But I'm going to tell you right now, every single day is an opportunity to turn it all the way around. So you just keep pushing forward. You keep going with God, keep going with faith, keep going with whatever it is that you believe in. Lean in on that and know that you are changing every day.
Yes, sir.
Literally.
Yes, sir.
You know that, right? Our
it's,
body
it's
changes.
molded you.
Oh, yeah, we
From
change.
the art that you've had, the way
Exactly.
you parent now, the way you had to man up for the situation. And what I mean by man up is like see the responsibility and tackle it. Like as in you grab these girls, you didn't know what you were doing. Like it made you who you are today.
Exactly.
That's facts.
Like, you know what I mean?
And I don't mean to interject, but do you realize that you were doing something that a lot of other men would not do? There's a lot of other men out here that would be like, "Yo, if there was that situation, take these 4 kids." They'd be like, no, my ex-wife got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Trust me, that you got some
bro.
balls on you, bro.
Yeah, man.
So you should get that love
I appreciate that. Thank you.
all day long. You deserve that love too. See but this is what I'm talking about. It's the fatherhood stuff. I'm saying it right into the camera. It's the fatherhood stuff that we're doing. I hear about all this stuff that's being done behind the cameras, if that makes any sense. It's being done behind the scenes that aren't actually getting the acknowledgement and the love that they absolutely rightfully deserve.
Celebrate that.
Exactly. Because when I see something like that, when I say what makes a father, you just said it.
I appreciate you, bro. That's right.
Absolutely.
That makes me emotional because you literally take in those kids, you're bringing them in, and you go, I don't know how to. Like maybe it's like I don't know how to braid. I don't know how to. I don't know what kind of dog. What's a Barbie? What's yeah? See, like can't cook.
They didn't make air fryers then. You know what I mean? I can't just throw it in there.
Like the hell is cocoa melon? I don't know what the hell's going on, but you figured it out. You see what I'm saying?
man.
So
That's it,
I'm
bro.
just gonna give you your flowers while you're here, bro.
I appreciate
As a father, man. So don't look back in anger. Don't look back in guilt. I get the guilt. I get all that. But suck it up, and I mean that in the nicest and most loving way possible, because you've done some amazing work for not only for yourself, but for those 4 beautiful women that you brought up. Real talk.
Yeah, man.
So sorry.
But
But-
add on the conversation, I
Please.
think what's so beautiful about our brother here is that I think this is what it means to be a father, to communicate and to go through the fray when it's uncomfortable and you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like that's what it means to be a father. It's like, let's take this situation and let's try to make the best out of it that we can, learning from our past mistakes
Word.
and moving forward and trying to be the best we can be. I think it's beautiful that you're acknowledging like, yo, I really effed this up.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful for them to hear, and then also to know, hey, I'm gonna move forward, and we're gonna do this better. Like that is beautiful for your kids to see and learn, because life is so messy and complex, and we never have it. There's never a right way and how it should all fit together. And so as we're talking about fatherhood, this is what fatherhood is. Fatherhood is staying in the game,
Yep.
being present, having the conversation, being uncomfortable, but still being present.
Absolutely. Acknowledging the mistakes that you make.
Yeah.
And righting those wrongs over time. Because some of them, let's be real, it's kids, it's their psyche, it's how they grow up. You're not gonna go, oh my bad, and you're gonna right that wrong like that. If it say something toxic happened between you and the ex, or between you and your wife or something like that, and your daughter or your son is watching that and seeing that with their own 2 eyes and consuming that, okay, you acknowledge that later, like, oh man, that was totally out of character. That was wrong for me to do. You realize that is implanted, that seed is implanted in their brain. It's there. But the only thing you can do by righting that wrong is by leading by example, is by showing, listen, son, I messed up there.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't mean to do that. My bad. But I promise you, you ain't going to never see that again. Or you ain't going to see how that dialogue between me and your mother ever again. You're going to show by example every day, and you just keep rebuilding that brick wall or whatever, that building that you're building with your child. Because yeah, sure, they'll have that one moment, but if you keep repeating it, that's when the kid gets messed up.
Yeah.
That's when they get messed up. Seth, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, here's the thing: is your kids are learning regardless.
Can I just say, I just love this conversation. I'm sorry, Seth.
This is
I just
good.
love this conversation.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, this is the thing is, like, your kids are learning regardless.
All the time.
It's just, what are you teaching them?
Yes.
So the time, oh man, I have, and it's embarrassing to say, I had a job that I messed up, and I did not know how to deal with it, and I had to tell the kids what I did wrong, that it was my fault. Because I need my son to be able to see and recognize, okay, so dad knows when things are his fault. He's trying to right the wrong. Okay, I want him to see that. If I didn't do that, he would still be learning something. He would just be learning that, okay, so it's okay to ignore the problem and walk away from it.
Whoa.
It's okay to not right that wrong, because they can deal with that. So, like I was saying, like, they're gonna learn regardless. So the fact that our brother Zeus is talking about, all these things that he has learned. He is showing that as an example for other fathers, and also in talking about those things that he's learned, he's also still being an example for his daughters.
Exactly.
And so, man, it's just this is all so valuable. I feel like this is very, very good conversation. I had another point, but you guys kept saying good stuff, and I forgot what it was.
Well, if it does come back, interject. You going to say something?
I would just say it's therapeutic. I've been saying I was going to actually go to therapy about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, seriously, bro. You know what I mean? But even just sitting here talking about it, it's just it's helping.
As men, we need to talk more about this.
Took
Yes.
the words right out of my
These
mouth.
conversations are needed and necessary, because as fathers, we seem to be all these lone rangers doing our thing.
Right.
And fatherhood should bond us together in the sense of, like, let's talk about these things. I think therapy is needed and necessary, bro. Like, having someone who studied that, able to, like, learn and hear our emotions so that we can process them well, I think, man, that is more than half the battle for us. And I think it's needed and necessary, specifically for what you've been through, but I would say for everybody, any level of trauma. I think divorce is trauma. That's a death. Like, you're going through a
You're right.
straight death. And if we're just
I'm
going to
glad you
ignore
said
this
it.
thing
Yeah,
and act
it's
like
true.
it didn't happen, it happened, and it hurts.
And it hurts hard.
And there's pain,
There's
and
a mourning period.
and your kids feel it, whether you think you had the cool conversation or not. Like, it affects them for the rest of their life. And it's how you navigate and talk and have those conversations and walk through it. And I understand, like, every scenario is different. Every relationship is different and convoluted. And at the same time, what we can do as men and as fathers is be intentional to be present. Work the best way we can with our ex. If they're there, if we're able to do it, if we're able to live in peace, as the Bible would say, live at peace as best as possible. But sometimes there's just hostile situations, and you have to do what is needed and necessary as a leader. As a father, you are a leader, you're a mentor, and you're a guide. Even if you're distant, as in you're not home every day. And so it's like, how as fathers can we be present and fight to be present? That's why I look up to Zeus and Seth, because they have to work harder than what you and I would have to do, because every day there's an establishment there because mom and dad are there and present, and there's a power in that. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Seth has to work harder. Zeus has to work harder. Well, Zeus lived with this girl, so that's a different story. There's like a uniqueness with that, but like there because there's power and presence when it comes to fatherhood.
No, absolutely.
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 That was good. That was really good.
And it's a very good point. But one thing I do hate more than anything, and I know this kind of goes beyond our conversation of fatherhood, but it is still part of it, right? We talk about communication. We talk about being real. We talk about finding that balance, being present, as you said, Pastor Paul. But I feel like a lot of us men are not able to do that because of something. I don't know what it is. Bravado? Is it this je ne sais quoi masculinity BS type of thing?
We're not safe, bro.
But we
have no safe space.
We don't have a safe space.
We don't have a safe space.
So we can't even say out loud, speak out loud on our part what we're going through, what we're feeling, what we're angry about, what we're happy about, what we're geeking out about. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, I feel like a lot of times we can't even fully speak out. So we can't even have that real present conversation with our kids. Like, Seth just said something that I thought was dope, that he literally went to his son and was like, I messed up right here. And I'm going to tell you why.
Come on.
And that is a beautiful thing. But us men don't do that in real life. Seth is an anomaly. I mean that in the nicest way possible. Seth is amazing, and the way he talks and communicates with his kids, I'm real talk. I hope I
try.
do the same doggone thing when my kid gets here. But at the same time, there's that level of being present. There's that level of being open, being honest, being real. As men, we don't have that ingrained in our bodies as much. We're supposed to be that macho, as you said. Like I put in macho, but I'm just going to add what you just said: the leader, the putting the things down, the provider, the caveman type stuff. Cro-Magnon, the thumping your chest type thing. That we don't even have time to really say, like, son, I messed up here.
Yeah.
Here's why.
Yeah.
Or, man, I love you, kid.
Yep.
There's stories of kids who men, especially men, they'll sit there and go, I ain't never heard my father say that he loved me.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't even remember. Me and my dad close, but I can't even think of a lot of times that he was really like emotional. It was like emotional cussing my ass out. Like, oh, so you think you?
It's anger.
Yeah.
But it's always.
It was a lot of.
But you see what I'm saying? It's anger.
So you dead set on that because my dad
right?
has not done It hasn't been a lot of like I love you, son. And I ain't shout out to my daddy. You know what I'm saying? Because he a good guy.
We're not trying to bury.
I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just speaking to your point that. When I think back,
rare.
I'm like, damn, I can't really think of no like soft situations with my pops where he was
Word?
just like,
I can only think of one.
yeah, maybe
Like
one or two.
I think because when I graduated Bible school, he looked at me and he said, "I'm proud of you." And that,
I'm sure blew your mind.
bro.
Now my daddy do that. He like my biggest fan. He'd
Yeah.
be like, man, burn me a DVD so I can show my people.
That's fine.
Yeah, so he does do
Right.
that. So he
That's
supports.
good.
He's like my number one fan.
but there's very little emotion though.
That's what
because
I meant. That's what I
because
meant.
See what I'm saying?
My father was not very affectionate, and the most affection I've ever seen him is when he was going to go on tour. For those that are not familiar, I live in a military community. My dad fought in Vietnam, all that stuff. And then when he would go on tours for long periods of time on duties, that's when it was a little emotional because we don't know if he's going to come back. Right. But then he was emotional. I saw a little emotion with him with my wife now when she was my girlfriend at the time. So it was a little weird because I was like, Dad, I haven't really seen you really emotional. But there's little pockets where I think our kids don't really see it because we do have this macho man up that we're not willing to show those weaknesses to our children, like Sus, willing to be like, yo, I'm vulnerable right here. And those are just as powerful as the really successful moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's really needed and necessary. As we're talking about, it's like, yeah, we need to be more vulnerable as men to understand that it's not just, hey, the high, like doing all the good glit and glamour. It's like even in our weakest moments, what Seth said, they're all learning.
Right.
Yeah.
So why don't we
They're all
teach them in the
learning.
process as we're moving forward?
So either they're going to learn from you or they're going to learn from something else because everything that you were saying is that the Lone Ranger thing, right?
Yeah.
We are ingrained. It's ingrained societally. Like so to be a man is this. Well, there are a lot of wrong messages out there about what it means to be masculine, to be a man.
We got a lot of
stuff.
90s and 80s roided up action flicks that make us think this is what a father or what a man is supposed to be.
Yep.
Get to the chopper. You know what I mean?
And we don't talk about emotions. It's that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It's that type of stuff that's like you don't have to talk about your emotions. For why? Go. Here's your purse. Get unbunch your panties. Why are you talking about emotions? That's ingrained.
But we do show them though. That's the thing. It's if we're not able to communicate and talk it out. For us men, it comes out in anger. And that's the
Exactly.
only level of emotion
Yep.
that we're
The
able
only-
to show is anger.
Exactly.
When we're not able to be empathetic or show ourselves being weak or being unsure. Because I think when I look at my life, I'm very unsure about a lot of things that I'm doing. And a lot of people think, dang, Pastor Paul, you're doing this, this, and this. Like, I'm just figuring it out as I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, and
It's called life.
It's
though,
life.
bro. Right?
It's life. And so it's just like, this is what we're doing, you know? And it's just like, yeah, we just have to be okay with that. And know that it's not just the norm, but it's when it shows up, let's talk about it.
You know what? And I agree with that. We need to start talking about it. I do think that as men, we were growing up as men, watching our fathers and all that. Some of us are lucky. Some of us are lucky to have fathers that are, let's just say, very articulate with their emotions. And I mean that in a good way. I'm not saying that in a bad way, meaning articulate, knowing the vernacular they're fluent in emotions. They're able to show that they're upset. They're able to show that they're angry, that they're able to show that they're sad, that they're able to be open and honest
Yeah.
in front of their kids to a certain extent. Because obviously, I know you got to show a certain level of strength with your kids, right? But I do think that a lot of us growing up, when it comes to fatherhood, when we see our fathers, we see that one language and that one language only, and that's the only time when we see our pops getting emotional is when they're yelling at you or cursing you out, angry. Other than that, we don't see them shed no tears. We don't see them, the quivering bottom lip or anything like. We don't see any of that stuff. We don't see some of us don't hear the "I love you, son" or "I love you, daughter." We don't get that, and I'm hoping that maybe by these conversations,
For sure.
it'll hopefully exactly open it up and help somebody else to become more open to learning the other languages of their emotions. That you can get really fluent if you just open up your mind and give it a shot and give it a try. But let me wrap this up because I know that we've gone beyond. And this has been a really, really great conversation. I really do appreciate it, y'all, for real. But one last time, I'm going to go around the room and I'm going to start with Sess. But what makes a father in your eyes?
I think one thing that makes a father is recognizing that it is a leadership opportunity. That's something I was going to say earlier. Paul actually already touched on that, but it is an opportunity to be a leader to a human that might know nothing else. Like this boy or this girl, they have one biological father. You are that person. And so it's just having that role in someone's life and being as intentional as possible and as present as possible.
That's good. That's good. Zeus, what about you, bro? What makes a father?
I'm gonna say what makes a father is, we've been saying this the whole conversation, is being present, being available, and being there to catch them when they fall.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, that's good.
My brother, Pastor Paul.
Yeah, everyone said it. I think to be a father is to be present. To be father is to communicate with honesty. To be a father means to fight even when things don't seem right, and to stick in the game even when it's hard. I think a father is being present. So it's not easy, and yet at the same time, it seems like it's not really rewarding in culture. But it's one of the most God-honoring things we can possibly do, is to love this human being that God has given us to steward and love and care and guide well. And so as a father, we have this wonderful, beautiful responsibility to love these little ones well. And when life is done, I don't think we're going to be talking about how much money we made or the record sales or how big our churches are or how great our show is. I think at the end of the day, we will be happy that our kids are moving forward and being better than us.
That's facts. That's a good one too. See, this is why I'm happy I had this panel. Y'all are amazing. Thank you guys. Real talk. And okay, what makes a father, in my personal opinion, they've basically said everything. But I will say this. What makes a father is, I don't know yet. I'm still on the way. I'll let you know. And when I make mistakes to my future baby, sorry. But I'm going to tell you when I make those mistakes. I'm fully aware that we're only human. All we can do is grow and learn from the wrongs and mistakes that we've made. So I hope I can continue to lead by example for you and maybe other children. I don't know.
One bring three.
Yeah, one bring three. Well, stop.
Amen. Be fruitful and multiply, baby. Be fruitful
But
and multiply.
in my mind, what makes a father is exactly what they said. Being present, being loving, being strong when you need to be strong, being that pillar, being that provider, being that shoulder to lean on or to cry on, telling them that they're amazing even when they messed up, but also being that teacher and their cheerleader at the same time. Again, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being here. Real quick, again, before we wrap everything up, just down the line, I'm going to go with you, Pastor Paul. Could you just let everybody know where they can find you, you know, your online presence and all that stuff, like, you know, hashtags or, you know, handles and all that
I
stuff.
got you, man. For the church, sharelivinghope.com. Check us out, Living Hope IL. My personal handle is Paul@_Fernandez. So you check us out there.
There we go. Zeus.
And I'm on all platforms, social media, everything at Zeus Rebel Waters, ZEUS Rebel REBEL Waters, like the water you drink with an S.
There we go. And Sess, of course. Come on now.
All platforms at Sess White. You know the best. You go to Sess. No, I'm just playing.
These are facts.
But no, I'm
that's
Sess White on Instagram, Facebook, and Lynn's Life with Sess White. That YouTube, that is, yeah.
I mean, it's still there. You're still making some stuff. But more importantly, tell them about your production company. IDEX what?
IDEX Photography and Multimedia. Work with businesses of all sizes and families as well. I do senior portrait. I do quite a bit, but I like to drip those things out and like, hey, I got this, I got you. So events, weddings, portraits, and I actually really enjoy doing commercial work as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very talented individual. Actually, all these fathers here are very, very multi-talented individuals, lots of levels. Please go check out all of their platforms. Follow them. Tell them that I sent you there. Tell them that the Pascal Show sent you there. I appreciate everybody for being here, for watching the show, taking the time to take a listen. Please do me a favor. Without you, I can't grow. The story, this conversation cannot grow. So again, hit that like button down below, okay? Hit that subscribe button. If you want to hit that join button down below just to support the channel, that'd be great. Also, if you want to support the channel even further, please go join my Patreon, patreon.com/The Pascal Show. It's that simple, okay? And also, share this feed. Share this conversation. I'm sure there's some other fathers out there that just need some inspiration or just need to feel good. And I feel like this was a really good, thoughtful, and insightful conversation. Again, I appreciate all y'all for being here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next show. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.